Welcome to the Lady Landlords podcast, where we empower women to gain financial independence through real estate investing. I'm your host, Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. If you're ready to buy, manage, and grow your real estate portfolio, then let's get started. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Lady Landlords podcast. I am your host, Becky Nova. And if you've been following us for a while, you might notice something a little bit different if you are watching us over on YouTube right now. And what that thing would be that big purple wall back there. That means that I am actually back in the United States. Many of you know that I do go live down in the Dominican Republic during the winters. I just got back to New York and I am back at the Lady Landlords headquarters. But do not get all too used to me here. The reason for that is I do not plan on staying in New York for much longer. I actually have to go back down to the Dominican Republic as I am closing on a brand new property down in DR at the end of this month. And I guess I might as well just stay in DR for the month of April as well. So I am incredibly looking forward to that. I plan on sharing all about the deal and the property that I will be setting up in the Dominican Republic in a future episode on the Lady Landlords podcast. So if you have not, make sure to hit that subscribe button now, so that way you do not miss an episode, because I was able to buy this property in a whole new fun strategy that might just really work for you as well. And I know a lot of you want to be able to buy abroad or to be able to travel. So it's going to be a great episode to really share with you how I was able to make that work in buying in another country. If you've been following me for a while, you know that was always really my goal with real estate investing. My goal with real estate investing was so that I can really make sure that I am completely location independent. I can work from anywhere. I can enjoy all the travel that I want. I can go live in different countries on different days. That was really all I ever really wanted. And luckily, through rental properties that I've accumulated over the past few years, and it really only took about 10 properties. This newest one will be property number 13, but it really only took about 10 properties to be able to bring in a six-figure income from real estate that just really allows me to go out and live the life that I've always really wanted, and be able to travel the world. So I am not alone in that quest. Because of that, also from the very first property, there were things that I did to set up my portfolio that would make it where now, yes, I can go travel and go live anywhere I wanted from a financial perspective, but also where I'd still be able to manage my own properties during that time. So I actually self-manage all 13 of those properties. When I'm in New York, I manage my other properties that I own in the Dominican Republic from New York. And then when I am in the Dominican Republic, I actually manage the bulk of my properties, which happen to be in New York. I'm also from down there. And I was in the Dominican Republic. I'm recording this episode now, middle of March. I was in the Dominican Republic since right after Christmas, so still back in December. And I'm dead serious here, a few hours, maybe a few. Maybe I want to say, like, if I total it all up, like 1 full hour, maybe 2 full hours of managing my properties from the Dominican Republic, which has been absolutely amazing because I can do that all from a beach, all in my little lounge chair, in my bikini. And there are just things that I've learned that I was able to put in place to make sure that I can enjoy that time abroad that I think will be able to help you too. So I decided I'm going to share with you 4 things that I did to help me able to manage a long distance that can help you too. So first thing that I always like to start with, and you should be doing this if you want to go manage long distance or if your property is right across the street. But the first place you always really want to start is with boundaries. This is incredibly important. From that lease signing, before tenant even moves in, I go over a communication plan. And I get very, very clear on what expectations are that of when and how I respond to tenants. So that just makes so much more sense to do and get out of the way. So that way they understand how to communicate with you. They understand when you'll be responding back to them, all of those different types of things. For example, Google's one of the best things ever. I have a Google Voice number and I have a specific Gmail that is just for tenants. Okay. That way I can really run this. Even from when I had Property Run, I ran this as if I was a huge property management company that had business hours from 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever really works for you here. But there were chains of communication And that was how people were getting in touch with me for maintenance, all those different things. I even outlined what does count as an emergency and how they should contact me when those situations come up, right? So for example, if you had to call 911 first, then you're allowed to call me. But outside of that, there are very little reason for someone to be contacting you just whenever it is that they feel that there's something kind of going on that they want to talk to you about, when they can really just make those calls and email, and that way you can be able to handle those. So really setting up expectations for communication at the very beginning is going to be something that's going to save you a ton of time. Now, the second tip that I have for you when it comes to managing long distance is to really make sure that you have what I call a boots on the ground. Really, all that is just somebody that will probably actually help you more than it's going to actually help your tenant. But that boots on the ground is really just a person to give you a little bit of peace of mind in case some type of emergency comes up, in case something pops up, that there is some need to get to a property, some need, some situation. It's really just that fail safe that's going to be helpful for not only your tenant, but it's really going to be able to help you be able to sleep at night a little bit better. Just knowing that, God forbid something happens, that somebody will be able to get there. Also, if you end up in a situation where you have tenant turnover, where you have to have some screenings or an open house with a tenant, if you have to do rehabs or anything like that, that you do have somebody there that can make it to that property in a reasonable period of time and can really kind of be your eyes and ears there. This is something that I've been able to use realtors for, friends, family, that I've been able to pay other investors that happen to be in the area if needed to be able to do those things. But I have literally done rehabs from across and flips on properties from across the world by really just being able to have a point person that I can get all my updates from, all my information from. And that once again, just makes things a little bit easier for me, knowing that I have a person that can really update me on what is going on with the project. And that's time limited. So I don't have to pay them month to month like I necessarily would a property manager. Keeps my costs down, keeps my profit up. Tip 3 that I have for you that would be helpful would be to systemize absolutely everything. This same, I don't care if your property is across the street or if your property is on the other side of the world. And I don't care if you have one or if you have 1,000. You really want to make sure that you're systemizing everything up front. For this, I really make sure that especially my tenant screening process is all systemized, how I'm able to run applications, how I run open houses, my lease, my documentation, all of that is really just done in systems that take very, very little time to be able to go through. And everything is nice and organized. Everything is very clear what needs to be done during those times. I have a whole video, not only on our YouTube channel, Lady Landlords, but also wherever you listen to podcasts on our channel. I have a whole episode all about how to systemize and what systems I use to be able to manage my properties best. You can also learn more about those systems at lady-landlords.com/blog. On our blog, every single week, I give you tips on how I'm managing my business. But with some of those systems, I also list out the exact systems I'm using to be able to manage my properties in just a couple minutes. So go take a look, but it's really, really important to use. We are in a great place where we actually have landlord software systems. We have tenant management systems. We can do credit checks really with just the push of the button. This is and collect rent automatically that goes directly to our bank account. This is huge things that we're able to do that other people weren't able to do in the past. So take advantage of these automations and of these software systems to make your life much easier, and do it at the very start of your business. When you have multiple properties, it's going to be much more difficult to transfer over. Start at the beginning, getting these processes in place. I'll make sure to put a link to the episode where I lay out all of my systems for tenant management down in the comments here. So do make sure to go check that episode out if you have not heard that. Last tip that I have for you here is remember that being a real estate investor, and the key to success with being a real estate investor, is being an effective problem solver. That's really what we do all day long, is just putting out fires, solving other people's problems. So what's really important is to start to identify what problems you are spending your time on, and then systemize and come up with a more efficient way to be able to handle that specific problem. So for example, if one of your problems is always that you now post an ad online for a vacancy you have, but you get all these people now coming and applying that are just really not qualified for the property, that's where I would focus my time. How do we come up with a solution, and how do we streamline a process for the thing that is causing the most amount of issues in your day, in your life, within your time? We want to protect our time as much as possible. The whole reason we are here buying rental properties and looking for financial freedom is for the freedom. I don't want you tied to your phone. I don't want you tied to your rental properties, to your tenants. I want you to go out there and live your best life. So start to really think about what it is in your business that is causing you the most amount of headaches, that is taking up the most amount of your time. And then let's brainstorm some ways that we can automate that we can systemize it, and at least mitigate the problems that you're facing there. If you ever need help coming up with some solutions to that, do know that we have the Lady Landlords Mentorship Program where we work through all of those different problems that you may have to really make sure that you can take back your time for you and enjoy the life that you have. So if you are interested in that, feel free to reach out to me and book a call and see if the mentorship is right for you. You can always email me at becky@lady-landlords.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at the Becky Nova. All right. Thank you very much for joining me for today's episode. Hopefully the next episode, I'm going to be giving you guys a walkthrough tour of my newest property that I'm going to be setting up in the Dominican Republic. So keep an eye out for that. Like I said, do make sure to subscribe to the Lady Landlords podcast. We release new episodes every other Tuesday, and I will see you all then for a member story about one of our women in the program that is just absolutely crushing building her portfolio. And I can't wait for you to hear her story. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate journey, visit lady-landlords.com to book a one-on-one workshop with me. I'll help you determine your next best strategy. Or you could subscribe to our newsletter for exclusive tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a lady landlord today.